We are live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this new independent channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button and feel free to comment. All right, let's welcome to see who's on the stream. Let's see if anybody out there has managed to find me by searching Crypto Noble on YouTube. We have Lightning Speed is here. Welcome. Chris Banjo from Lagos. Hello. He says, Bill, I need another 100X. I'll do my best. Okay, Danny from Florida, right? I need a nap says, I second the 100X request. All right, we have Sinterklaas. It says, Bill, all new style, right? Sydney, Australia is here. Welcome. Good to see you. GF is in the house. Welcome. Welcome to everybody joining the new stream and the new channel, which also has new artwork courtesy of @CathyCrypto on Twitter. That's CATHIE Crypto @CathyCrypto on Twitter for all the new artwork. Oh, Bull Runner is here. Welcome. Yes. Hello. I need a nap says red shirt. Yes. Buying opportunity. Quite possibly. We're going to go over the GANN analysis. Actually, I'll give it to you right now. So I'm thinking that whatever consternation we have going on here in the market, the tax loss selling, the capitulation, right? It's going to take about 5 days. That's a guess. We got about 5 days of this capitulation type selling before the up move has actually a shot to resume. How ugly is it in the short term? I don't know, but I have a new theme. The staying in legacy is don't fight the Fed. My saying is always fade the Fed. Again, the guys who were telling you inflation was transitory a year and a half ago are now telling you Fed funds are going to 5%. We'll do that in a minute. Okay. So I am watching you on Twitter and YouTube live. Must check. Yes, this is streamed on YouTube and my Twitter, Crypto_Noble. So we definitely appreciate everybody joining the stream. We appreciate your viewership, your business in effect, and obviously feel free to continue to tell your friends. All right. Now let's jump into news. Okay. Fed to weigh higher interest rates next year while slowing rises this month. Brisk wage growth may lead officials to consider raising policy rate above 5% in 2023. Okay. So Jerome Powell obviously has not gotten the memo on so many things, right? So many things. He's not aware that the second he raises rates, Silicon Valley is going to take their existing layoffs of about 35,000, and they're probably going to take it up to 50 immediately. Every time he hikes rates, they're going to move it up. And each time they raise rates, they're probably going to wind up taking it all the way up to their number of 100,000. 2023 for technology employment will be very similar to 2001, right? You'll have quality businesses with quality value propositions that just need to cut costs and right-size their staff. Now, obviously, that's unfortunate for anybody who's involved, but And of course, the Fed wants that because it wants to slow down inflation. I get it. But they always overdo it. Always. Right. And this time is no exception. I mean, they're out this morning saying, hey, we're going to continue to hike rates, despite the fact that, FTX has got obvious contagion. Now, here's what Jerome Powell doesn't know about, which I talked about over the weekend. Okay. Or I sort of was reflective of my shopping experience over the weekend. As you may tell, I'm setting up a new YouTube studio, right? I'm getting my own equipment, my own show, etc. I've got a whole new sort of professional stage in my career beginning. So I went to Guitar Center. Austin, Texas is known as the live music capital of the world. Okay. So I went to Guitar Center on a weekend. And I was like, oh my God, because I needed a microphone, right? I need a new microphone, a new boom arm, etc. And I said to the person behind the counter, it's like, so how's business? Figuring she's going to be like, the joint's jumping. This person looked at me and goes, I've been working at Guitar Center for 6 years, and I've never seen Black Friday be so dead. She said it was like a Monday in retail terms, in terms of traffic. Then she said she also got a call from this group, this famous group in Austin, Texas, Waterloo Records, okay, where they spoke with her and confirmed that their store was dead on Black Friday. This is like a famous place where you can go and buy vinyl records and all kinds of eclectic, very Austin type stuff. My next door neighbor works in a Star Wars store where they have Star Wars memorabilia, reporting slow Black Friday sales. So when they tell you Black Friday was good in dollar terms, yeah, it's good in dollar terms in sales because the prices of goods are higher. Right? If you buy 100 units at $1, okay, that's $100 in sales. But if the price goes up to $2 and you only buy 50, the dollar amount of sales are the same. So be careful when they give you this whole story. It's like, oh, we need to hike rates because of wages. Oh, we need to hike rates because of this and that. Whatever. They can do what they want. When they're done, this is the things that people are going to realize. One, the dollar is done, right? The dollar. Everyone was telling me the dollar was going up forever, right? And I told them no. Then they told me the dollar, right, or gold rather, could not go up. And I said gold is the only thing that's going to go up. And while during the FTX crashed, gold outperformed everything massively. So I'm sticking with these themes. Now, continuing on crypto news, right? The FTX Contagion, it's like I'm living in the Twilight Zone with this whole FTX thing. You've got big influencers running around the Bahamas trying to track this guy down. He hasn't been arrested. No one has charged him with anything. I'm wondering if that's because he was likely working with the government. Meanwhile, he's running around on a public relations tour. I'm fascinated to know where they got this money to get him on all these TV shows, so he could apologizing for mismanaging money that he stole from depositors. So they're framing the FTX debacle as a risk management problem, sort of like 2008, not realizing that, they were just outright speculating with clients' money, very much like what happened in 1929. So this creates a situation, oddly, where they're trying to do PR damage control to a legacy audience. Meanwhile, the crypto audience has been left wounded and perhaps even soured on crypto. Perhaps we have arrived at revulsion. Now, if we haven't, there's more selling related to these liquidations. I get it. You know it. You don't need me to explain that part of it to you. What is worth looking at is the folly of what he's doing, and the fact that he hasn't met law enforcement yet is an indication of who he could have been working with while he was at FTX, working with actually as an inside the government. Okay, so that's kind of my take on crypto news today. Let's jump into DeMark work and start explaining the price action that we're seeing so far. So this is the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin. This is a 13 top. So, oh my God, Richard Barry, Augusta, Georgia is here. Welcome. All right. Somebody posting links to my Twitter. I appreciate that. All right. Everybody is here in the house, right? Including Bull Runner. Wanted to welcome you again. Okay. So a 13 top in DeMark. What does that mean? Well, that means DeMark divided trends down into two pieces, right? There was the first piece, which is this setup phase. Okay. The way they count it, it goes 1 through 9. Counts a certain set of conditions. Like, I don't know, the high is higher than the high 2 days ago. Okay. After the 9, the setup phase, you can get a top if it's a range bound environment, but if a trend is going to start, you'll have what's called countdown, where it'll, go up, pause off the 9, and then resume. Now in Bitcoin, the resumption was slow. Okay. They popped it up to 17,400. The 13 top came in over the weekend. They always do this. There's always an extreme over the weekend, and then they dropped it. Okay. But they dropped it right back into where it's been. Okay. Now it's the same thing with ETH. If we look at ETH, okay, there are a couple of different reasons why 1,300 in ETH is a big deal, right? One, it was the high on December 3rd, and that makes it a big DeMark point. Okay. If we look at a 90-minute chart of ETH, there's also some good news, right? There's support at 1250. So the range in ETH is 1,300 to 1250. Now, if we go over to my Twitter, okay, I have 1,300 to 1,325 as a key zone for Ethereum. Okay. There's 2 big GANN lines that intersect there. Now, on this channel, there is a video where I debuted drawing the GANN charts by hand and actually explaining to you what I was doing while I was doing it. That's on that video. The link to it's on my Twitter, and obviously it's on this channel. So don't forget to check that video out. The point is, there's a lot of lines. There's a 2x1 line, which is very powerful. And there's a line that goes way back, which again is described in the video, which is where, the FTX debacle started from. There's a false breakout above that line, and then crypto got slammed. Okay. So it's not surprising from a GANN point of view that as soon as ETH ran into 1,300, it kind of backed off because there's real resistance there. Now, of course, if ETH can take that out, then you have some evidence that something is changing, right? That's what we need. We need evidence that something is changing in ETH. Okay. Let's see. We have Israel here. Thank you. Welcome from Alabama. All right. We have Mr. Tahel saying, please drop a light. Peter up late in Singapore. Welcome. Okay. Welcome. Welcome back to the show. Okay. Let's go to like a news announcement. Okay. So I have a new, I guess you call it a new day job, right? I'm working for Golden Retriever as director of research. So we're trying something different. Rather than having me attached to like a sales desk or a technology company or some company that has a crypto product, we're attaching research and delivering that to a token holders community. So as a part of the value proposition of being in the community, you're going to get research from me. These people were nice enough to actually let me set up my own YouTube channel as well, so I can deliver value to their customers and their audience while also helping my friends out there in YouTube world and not be, confined behind a paywall. Okay. Farmer Sam, welcome. How you doing? Jacob, right? Indiana tuning in. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like button and help me out with that algorithm. Okay, let's go back and talk about Bitcoin again. Okay, so actually this is ETH on a daily chart. So this tells us a couple of things. One, about the importance of the resistance at 1,300. Obviously, it's been up there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times and hasn't been able to get back through it. 7, 8, 9 if you're over here. Okay, this is in early November. Now, these dotted lines are automatically generated by the DeMark system. So it's kind of like quant based, and that's what DeMark was great at, right? Basically being the original quant analyst and making it a lot easier for you to look at support and resistance. So if I have hand kept GANN work and DeMark saying that, 1300 is a key level in ETH, then, the people who need to sell ETH will be there selling. And, if they can't push the market down and gold goes back up and the dollar sort of resumes its slump, then ETH can break out. Okay. Now, the thing that nobody's talking about really is what's going on the Bitcoin chart. Okay. This is the Bitcoin daily chart. It's pretty simple. Okay. There was, a 4-wave that started up here. And what's a 4-wave? Well, if you've listened to the stream at any point in the past, that's normally when, like I call it, the give up trade starts, right? So the give up trade starts at the top of wave 4, and then wave 5 is just the violent decline. Okay. So obviously, this whole FTX thing, it goes from 21 to 15. And then down here, you can see that the D wave has posted in a 5-wave. Okay. So we have a 5-wave here, and then this thing goes up. Okay. And it may be starting a new up move. It may be, right? The DeMark work will tell us whether or not this A means the move is over, or if there can be like a 1, 2, 3 going in the other direction. Okay. So there is a lot of information here that would indicate that this is capitulation. And the next DeMark support up top, resistance up top is at 22.7. Okay. Now I had a question here. Hey, Belgium is back. Welcome. Belgium is back. I saw a question, right? I saw a question somewhere. Crypto for Noobs is here. Somebody is asking, where will PAXG wind up? I'll look at that. And then somebody says, can you try to keep both channels clearly separated so your independent status is not tainted? Okay, good question. So this channel is considered independent, right? So there's not going to be 2 channels. There's going to be research I do for their customers and this channel, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to be doing one type of, or I'm not going to be saying A to one group and B to another. It's all research. It's that they're going to get probably a higher level of written research, as well as like, independent AMA type meetings, that type of work, right? Similar to a prior model. It's just that, I'm more free to talk on YouTube. That's all. It's going to be this. It's going to be quality research for both audiences, allowing me to serve you on YouTube. Devin, good to see you again. Welcome. Okay, Crypto for Noobs. Where will PAXG wind? Welcome to any new people, and welcome to anybody who's finding me again. Right? I think it's pretty obvious that they tried to bury me under 10 feet of cement, but I'm still here. Okay, let's talk PAXG. Now, I like to talk about PAXG on a weekly chart basis, right? This is a classic bump and run, right? This is a May high in 2021, drawn off the April high of last year. And this is straight up and down, breakout, retest, and then hold. Okay. Now, I think that this is going to go to a weekly 9, which means you could have 4 more up weeks. Now, again, the Fed's got to come out. That all has to get digested. There's like, the Wall Street Journal writes about the Fed. They probably have really good sources inside. So whatever bad news about the Fed is already out. If they want to hike rates to 5%, that's fine. They can go do that. They'll be cutting rates faster when that starts. Trust me. Okay. They always overdo it. I mean, I remember in 2000 when the ECB was hiking rates after NASDAQ had rolled over in nasty fashion. Okay. So PAXG, where can it go? Let's go to a daily chart. So we've been talking about this. Okay. PAXG has been on a run. There is a DeMark 13 top and resistance right at 1794. Okay. So you do have an organic pause point in PAX at 1800 because that's where the give up trade started from in August. And what a brutal grinding give up trade it was, particularly since there was a lot of hope after this rally and they did a ferocious triple bottom. So my guess is in gold and silver, you're going to get to buy a dip. Okay. Let's take a look at silver. You know, they were very enthusiastic in silver, okay, on Friday. And then, of course, the Fed's got to come out with its news today. Okay. So it looks like the give up trade in silver started in June, right around this $20 level. Okay. And it built this huge base underneath there for months, right? These lines indicate, I believe they're, you know, those are when months start. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of a base. Silver, you know, gets extended, gets a little toppy, comes back down to retest where the give up trade started from and where the breakout occurred from at $20. This is actually SLV, the ETF for silver. Okay. Until and Village Cooking is like, isn't it directly correlated to gold? Yes. So on a longer term basis, there's evidence of a PAXG breakout. Tactically, short term, you know, it's giving you a dip. It's giving you an opportunity to buy a dip. Okay. Now, when do you do it? Again, not investment advice. You know, you let these Fed things play out. Every time there's a Fed thing, the first trade's always wrong. Right. Everybody last time was like, oh my God, the Fed and FTX wound up the issue. All anybody did was talk about the Fed and the November, December rate hikes. And it turns out FTX was the story. The thing that everyone's talking about is never the thing that actually moves the market. It's just the thing that everybody talks about. I think the thing that everybody talks about is that the consumer walks away from the holidays at certain levels and then the employment picture deteriorates rapidly, steadily. Okay. And I think that is what is going to weigh, you know, it's going to make it really hard on the Fed. Now let's go to stocks, right? So this is S&P E-minis on a daily chart basis, right? Now, one of the things we're going to notice is that the recent decline, you know, it came back about 62%. So it's not uncommon for stocks to make these kind of moves where it'll go down and then it'll retrace either 62% or 3/4 of a move. If we go to a 4-hour chart, and then I'm going to explain why this matters for crypto. Okay. I think when it comes to stocks at the end of the year, if stocks don't trade well, right? If everyone does tax loss selling, okay, that's going to make it tough for crypto. But again, equities are down 1.5% today, and ETH is only down 1.2%. The tax loss selling and the portfolio allocations that need to occur in legacy are bigger than what has to occur in crypto. That's all. And hopefully that can happen in equities without crypto getting destroyed. But this whole idea of higher rates and slower growth, right, and companies need to cut cost, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make equities particularly exciting to me. Although I don't think in crypto, we don't want to see equities get crushed. Now, again, as a reminder, small cap stocks are set for big gains, 12 holiday bargains. This is from Barron's. Okay. Now, why am I showing you this on a crypto podcast, a crypto live stream? Well, here's the deal. When tax loss selling gets done, which may be done by the middle of December, somewhere in there will be bargains. Now, it could be in stocks, could be in stuff that's like totally beat up. You know, it could also be in crypto, right? Small cap crypto is getting annihilated. Tax loss selling, you know, even in coins that tried to rally like AAVE, right? Now, for GLDN, I have support at 133, right? So that's my next chart point in GLDN. GLDN is the Gold Retriever Group is coming out with information about its what I call its water futures token, BARC. So BARC, B-A-R-C, is a pair. You need GLDN to trade it. The fundamentals of the water contract, okay, which I think have always been very interesting from the beginning, will be coming out soon. So BARC has a bid at the moment. GLDN is headed for support at 133, and I'll just leave it at that. Now, just as a reminder, right, Art by Kathy Crypto, the new YouTube channel is up. So check it out, subscribe, and here is the GANN video, right? For anybody interested in hand-kept GANN charts, here is the GANN video where I actually show how I drew and charted the thing I showed you in my Twitter. Okay. So yeah, somebody is dropping in we've dropped in the link for Blu Arctic. Okay. Blu Arctic is an untold narrative. Okay. When I first heard about GLDN, when I first talked to the team, because I was doing my own research, they talked to me about this idea of price discovery in water, about the idea that there's a lot of water in one part of the world and that they're going to work on a mechanism to get that water to other parts of the world through a futures market. You're like, what's the futures market? Well, the futures market is things like oil, soybeans. Wait, you're like, is that the 50x leverage thing you do on FTX? No, it's not. Okay. Futures is how people can both speculate, but it's also how people who need commodities can get them from people who produce them. The idea of price discovery in water delivered through the blockchain, delivered through small cap blockchain and a commodities ecosystem associated with it. So if like you're wondering why I did this and went to work for these people, that's why. Because the juiciest thing you can ever get in crypto is to get involved in something early, something small, something powerful, something that has a good idea behind it that could potentially be game-changing. Ideas that come to mind from my experience. Uniswap, Metaverse, right? Decentraland traded for nothing. Like Decentraland was free on DEXs for years. Nobody cared until one day someone did. Now, you have Sandbox, speaking of no one cared, you have 3 green candles in a row working in Sandbox in the metaverse. One thing that could be interesting once the tax loss selling is done is, does a bid come back in to certain altcoin sectors that have been given up for dead? Okay. Here's weekly Decentraland. Here's a 13 bottom. Okay. No exciting upside yet, but someone's asking, hey, are there opportunities in small caps? So all year long, I've been saying, hey, listen, you need to reevaluate your altcoins, right? Your accountant needs to talk to you about your altcoins, right? Because, you know, if you have losses, you don't have to be married to your altcoin, or you've done a bad trade. You don't have to be married to the bad trade. The accountant may be able to tell you how exiting a position and then coming back into it or coming into another trade may help you. And this is what's going on in equities. Like, oh my God, why is the market down? Now, so this is just an example of like a high quality crypto. So this is AAVE, right? Back in the days of DeFi. And, you know, I remember when people looked at the code of AAVE and they said, yeah, this is something else, right? But people take projects that look great and the market will price them differently at different times, right? Like AAVE was worth $700 in May of last year. And now people can't wait to sell it at 70. Now, I'm glad this came off of its lows, and there's probably too much revulsion in DeFi. There's probably too much revulsion everywhere in crypto. Now, back to the title of the stream. Okay, if I can get this to come up, I'm interested in Doge. Again, I have to get it to come up here. But as I talk about this, let's talk about Elon, right? So that's how we're going to like title up the stream. Can you imagine what happens if Elon issues Twitter coin? Or if Elon, Elon is already going to start doing crypto payment systems. What is going to happen when Elon puts Bitcoin, Dogecoin as a payment platform on Twitter? Anybody going to be able to stop that guy? He's already taken over media. He's already controlled the news narrative. And finance is next. And the way he's going to do finance is through crypto. And it came out last night. ETH went up 3%. And now, crypto is following equities. All right. So why is that happening? Well, on Bitcoin, we talked about the 13 top, right? Prices made a new high over the weekend. The 13-day RSI did not. Let's see if I can change this, give you a better color here. 13-day RSI did not make a new high. So that bodes for some sort of corrective activity in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still kind of flopping around in this range, or maybe just above it, depending on how you draw it. Be interesting to see if there's a bid in Bitcoin at 17K. Because you know what? If there is a bid in Bitcoin at 17K and people buy the dip in gold after the Fed stuff, Wizard West, welcome. Okay. Jebo Mass, hi. Okay. Somebody's saying, yeah, we don't like what's going on in gold right now and related tokens. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. There are trades, there are ideas that, in my life, I've seen other people do. And I've seen them absolutely get tortured for. Here's a good example. I remember when crude oil was at $50 back in the early aughts. And an analyst at an investment bank I was working at came up with a target for oil above 100. Nomad, welcome. He came up and said there was a target. The target for oil was above 100. And people thought that was so ridiculous. Actually, let's pull up the chart while I'm telling the story. People thought that was so ridiculous, right? That they assumed the investment bank I was working for, the talk was, I think there was even a news article that the investment bank was trying to somehow manipulate price. And then oil turned around and went to 140. And nobody was talking, nobody was talking any shit at that point. Excuse me. No one was talking about any, oh, gee, these guys, yeah, that research, yeah, that was all fake. No, dude, it wasn't. Okay. Here it is right here. Okay. So this is Crude Oil Daily. So this fits into something that people like called Wall Street war stories, right? So this is U.S. crude monthly. Okay. Right here. Okay. June of 03, it was at $20. And in December of 2006, it was at 50. Don't have a recollection on the year, which one it was, but I do know that oil turned around and went straight up. It went to 140. And sometimes on ideas, you have to take heat. I don't think this was announced at the low. Actually, I think it was announced well before that. And it actually dipped below the price it was at when the recommendation came out. And this guy came out and reaffirmed the recommendation. So if you have an idea, you want to be responsible. I own GLDN. I work at GLDN, right? I got paid a speaking fee before I worked at GLDN to appear on their Twitter space in the form of their tokens. I bought GLDN with my own money. We've talked about this. And GLDN is an idea, right? And became wildly unpopular. And, you know, I basically got crucified on Twitter. It happens. It happens. The fact of the matter is the research behind the idea and the fact that, you know, something's got a $15 million market cap to me is interesting. Okay. So if the Wall Street Journal is telling you that there are going to be small cap ideas after all this washout occurs, and again, it's not investment advice. Maybe you got a small cap idea that you like. Maybe there's something going on in the metaverse, or maybe it's one of these like layer 2 solutions that make Ethereum work better. I don't know. The point is, when you look at crypto, the thing people are not asking themselves because of the FTX, you know, obsession is what's the 2023 preview for crypto? Okay. Rave Song Records is here. Welcome. Okay. Crypto Crazy is here. Wrong again. Hello. Pancakes and Peanut Butter has found the channel. Welcome to all the regulars. And Village Cooking say they doing water futures, right? Yes. So again, this is talking about the research thought process. The whole thing that's unbelievable that I learned about the Gold Retriever group is that, you know, if you hold the golden token, as I understand it, you can get airdropped or rewards in the water futures token called Blu Arctic, or they call it, the symbol is BARC, B-A-R-C. So it's inside of this ecosystem, and these guys are building an ecosystem. The white paper on Blu Arctic is out. No one's read it, right? They're currently putting all the fundamentals and all the numbers together about what happens if you wake up and there's a need for a water futures contract where you can move water from one place to the other with a free market price. Now, people can say that I'm a bad guy. People can say all the things that they want to say because the prices of these small cap tokens, they go way up and then way down. The same thing happened with Matic. You know, the same thing happened with a lot of these tokens in their early genesis where they go way up and crash. I think Matic went up and crashed like 3 times. You know, it definitely can happen. But the question no one's asking themselves is, why is Bitcoin up today? Right? What's the 2023 outlook? Right? Let's bring Bitcoin back in here. Just plain Jane Bitcoin, right? So there was a 13 top. Sorry, let's go to an 89-minute chart. Okay, so Village Cooking is asking a lot of like specific fundamental questions, right? And I'm gonna leave that like to my fundamental teammates to explain. Okay. Wrong again says, put your big boy pants on. It's up to you. Yes, it is up to me. It's up to me to produce the best research I can. The best research I can. Okay. Now, again, when it comes to Blu Arctic, the white paper, all this stuff is coming out, trying to keep this, you know, a TA show. The point is, what do you want to do for 2013? Driftless crypto is back. Welcome. Spread the word. Crypto Noble on YouTube. Okay, again, back to Bitcoin. Now you're like, well, Bill, this is boring. No, actually, it's not. Bitcoin is not boring anymore because Bitcoin is probably going to be a great gauge as to whether or not the FTX debacle, the assets that are tied up in these bankruptcies, whether they're going to get dumped into the market or whether the Bitcoin is actually going to be used as an asset base to form new entities. It's what happened with Celsius, right? Like I thought Bitcoin was going to 10K because all of the Bitcoin that Celsius owned was going to get dumped into the market to pay depositors. Now, that hasn't happened yet. I think a lot of people are expecting that, which is why it's not going to happen. The thing everybody expects doesn't happen. That doesn't mean something bad can't happen to crypto later. Of course, we all know that. But in the meantime, what's Bitcoin doing at 17K? Right now, it's holding. It's holding. Ashton is here. 2 more regulars. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Welcome back to the market update. Okay. Obviously, if you have a coin, oh yeah, actually, let's talk about this. Because this has always, I love it and I hate to love it at the same time. So here's Litecoin. And oh my God, if you've been watching the market update, I talk about Litecoin and Zcash and these Bitcoin forks. It's almost like a guilty pleasure, right? I mean, I've never understood why nobody has wanted fast Bitcoin. Yeah, I guess there's some fundamental issues there, but now that said, every time Litecoin moons or Zcash moons, the market dumps, which is what happened in this case, right? Litecoin was up like 8% last night, and then the market dumped. But this is on a steady uptrend. In other words, let's go over here and let's take a look. Let me see if I can pull Litecoin up on DeMark and see what we get. Pancakes and Peanut Butter wants to know about Zcash. It's kind of another heartbreaker, but I believe privacy is not going to be a 2023 narrative. Central bank digital currencies. I mean, they're in your Venmo, for God's sakes. They're in your Venmo or your PayPal. I mean, really? Guys lose billions of dollars and then your PayPal is an issue. Okay. So Zcash, oh no, this is Litecoin weekly. So there's no real DeMark resistance in Litecoin on a weekly chart until like 92. And of course, you can see all these DeMark 9 bottoms down here, along with the 13 bottom. That was back in June. So Litecoin actually put its DeMark bottom in June, and maybe doing this whole bigger the base, the higher in the space. God, wouldn't that be great? Because remember, yeah, sometimes when Litecoin pumps, the market dumps. But other times, I remember in the DeFi days, Litecoin actually led the way out. Litecoin was moving before anything else goes. Now, I don't want to go crazy, right? I don't want to go crazy. Okay, so Zcash. Okay, so this is Zcash weekly. See if we can adjust this. Go to daily. Okay, so here's Zcash daily. All right. Epic give up trade down to 35, which ironically was the level where I said I wanted to buy it. So very juicy down there. Okay. You have a DeMark point all the way up at 56, and you have moving average resistance right here at current prices at 45. Everybody has forgotten about all the things that they liked about crypto. Speed of payments, privacy, okay, the ability to transact outside government mechanisms. Everyone has forgotten about it. Okay. Wrong again, asking for AAVE, no problem. Josiah from Alabama followed me over. Okay. He says, don't let the whiners dampen your fire. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am not afraid to tell you. I am not afraid to tell you that what transpired on Thanksgiving until now has been upsetting, right? We're talking about setting up an entire YouTube channel where, the 10,000 people who were watching you were told that you were a villain. That is not easy to live with. Not at all. Now, that said, I have a greater appreciation for anybody who comes back and for any new people who come in, right? Because this will always be about the best research that I can deliver. I'm human, but it will always be about that. Okay. Now, AAVE, DeMark moving average at 71. You got the DeMark 9 top, and then you got to pause. And the thing is, can AAVE resume? Okay. The D wave doesn't look great. Okay. I would hate to see, this be like a 4-wave and then a real give up trade start. Yikes. Right. Now, one of the reasons why you might not expect that is because this is just so destroyed. Right. You didn't get the DeMark 13 bottom. It came down to an 11, but I don't know. I'm not in the mood to buy what's old news, but I'm also interested in value investing if they think this thing is going to get destroyed. Or maybe from a trading point of view, it's just a straight up Santa rally. Okay. Okay. Wrong again is asking about DeFi 2.0. Good question. Josiah, appreciate the love. He says, we know you aren't the villain. Greener grass ahead. Man, I tell you what, that means a lot. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Okay. Rune. Don't laugh, right? This was like $13 cross-chain trading. I would love to be able to go from something ETH-based to Bitcoin to Zcash all on the same platform. Everybody gave up on this, right? Because you had this like massive liquidation event. Everybody had to sell stuff, whether they wanted to sell it or not, because of like a system-wide margin call, right? A system-wide margin call. So is Rune interesting? Well, it's at resistance. I don't want to do anything at resistance, right? I don't want to do anything at resistance. I want to do something if like in Litecoin, if it breaks through resistance, like the high end of this range. Okay. See these prior highs right here. And then I want to see buyers underneath. After the liquidation event that's occurred, you have to ask yourself, the hedge funds that are left, they survived, right? If there's going to be a little bit of a performance chase in the second half of December, like in equities, you're definitely not supposed to sell equities during the holidays, during the U.S., between the Thanksgiving and the, Western religious holidays and even the Eastern religious holidays, etc. Right? You're not supposed to sell it at the holidays normally because the good stocks normally go up. Now, have there been any good stocks this year? I don't know. That's a good question. So I'm just wondering if the Santa effect is going to be in crypto rather than in equities. No one's talking about that, which is, of course, why I like to. And people are buying the dip in Litecoin, and I think they're buying the dip in Bitcoin. And I think whatever's going on in equities has already occurred in crypto. Now, if there's another FTX shoe, okay, I got it. Right? I got it. Okay. Let's do one more thing just to let you know that the new channel is up. So it's at Crypto Noble, one word on YouTube. So if you search Crypto Noble on YouTube now, you'll actually find it. Don't forget to check out the hand-drawn video charts, the hand-drawn GANN charts. All right, let's do one more wave. One more wave of news. Okay. Just to drive home this whole thing about the Fed. Okay. Here's how, this is the New York Post. Here's how much U.S. home prices will plunge in the current market bubble. U.S. home prices will have to decline by as much as 20% over the course of a multi-year correction before the housing sector can get back on track with historical trends. Okay. That means your house as a source of wealth that you can borrow against to go bid up the price of cars, steak, and everything else is not going to be there anymore, right? In other words, the Fed has already hiked rates until housing has halted. They may wind up hiking rates until housing breaks. Okay, well, good for them. Right, here's something from CoinDesk. Okay, European Central Bank blog decries the end of Bitcoin, and we aren't buying it. Wow. So there's a next, imagine how the adult person who writes about Bitcoin for a living reading an ECB blog post with the title Bitcoin's Last Stand. So apparently the ECB, the European Central Bank, has put out something saying Bitcoin is dead, or it's Bitcoin's last stand. Let me ask you something. When people are going, oh my God, Bitcoin's going up forever, I'm putting a lampshade on my head, the target's 100K. I said, no, it's probably not. That was unpopular. Okay. Not that I don't think Bitcoin can go to 100K. Just at the time, I was like, no. Now you have a central bank telling you Bitcoin is dead. Crypto is dead. Coming from a central bank. Do I have to say anything else? I can. Driftless crypto is like market bottom? Possibly. Like this is the biggest signal of a possible market bottom. Okay. Like I haven't gone through this. Like literally this just hit my desk. This just hit my desk. And of course, the authors are also noting that the Bitcoin system is an unprecedented polluter, as if there are other industries in the world that don't use energy. Okay. Peter Anderson saying possible macro bottom in pancakes and peanut butter is like, how about the ECB's last stand? More like it. Who do you want to listen to? Do you want to listen to these guys? Or do you want to listen to Satoshi? Right? Okay. More FUD coming straight from Kathy Crypto. Bitcoin could plunge 70% to 5,000. Wall Street Bank predicts in possible 2023 surprise. Okay. I mean, I've seen the chart work on this, right? I mean, I've seen chart work that says Bitcoin could go to 6K. I even discussed it in a video in a prior life. Bitcoin at 5 or 6K under a certain set of circumstances is not impossible. But you have to ask yourself, when people are writing about it, what does it mean tactically? It means people are so bearish that there can be a Santa rally. That's my opinion. Now, you also have to ask yourself, our friends from this Wall Street Bank is, okay, if Bitcoin's at 5,000, where's the rest of the world? Where are the rest of the markets? Where are stocks? Where's oil? Where's gold? Right? In other words, if Bitcoin goes to $5,000, is that an environment that benefits gold? Possibly. Possibly. Right? And Bill's like, all right, you're biased. No. You know, FTX crashed and gold went up. You know, that doesn't have to change, in my opinion. Now, obviously, if Bitcoin goes to 5,000, I don't think anything's going to go up. But the fact that this is what people keep putting out, this is what's out there, right? There's FUD on crypto. You know, the FTX, you know, there's FUD on Bitcoin. And the guy from FTX is on Good Morning America. And it seems like the loudest dissenting voice trying to shout him down is BitBoy down in the Bahamas, trying to be like, I can't believe anyone is still listening to this guy. So it's amazing, right? The media has the FTX apology out front, and let's all dump Bitcoin at the same time. We forgive FTX, guys, but we hate on crypto. Okay? It's like RTX or FTX. Okay? I'm talking FTX. Oh, Spin is here. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome back. Okay. Peter Anderson says 10K is the new 100K. Possibly. Possibly. I mean, there is a very good macro case for something to not go too right in crypto in 2023. I understand that. I understand that people think that, okay, the ecosystem has big problems. Does the ecosystem has big problems now? Okay. Spin is here. Welcome. Roosevelt Jones. Hello. Starting to see some familiar names. Okay. Definitely. Duran is here. Okay. Somebody would rather buy PAX than anything else I'm talking about. Well, you know what, dude? That's fine. That's all good, right? In other words, I don't care how you buy gold. I don't care if you buy gold. It's just an idea. It's not investment advice. But you can play gold in PAX. You can do physical, right? There's a shortage of physical silver, right? Or you can trade it, you can trade it small cap or large cap. Small cap allows you to get outside the legacy system, but subjects you to wild volatility. If that's not for you, there are lower volatility ways to pay a steady uptrend in gold, right? What do I want to be long? I want to be long, gold, water, and whatever crypto the market allows me to hold, especially the big stuff that survived all this. I mean, remember everyone talking about the merge? I do trades on Uniswap for like $2. I remember a 3-digit gas fee on a not big trade long time ago. ETH is deflationary. Is anyone talking about that anymore? Do you remember that stuff? Hey, remember when everyone was talking about ETH being deflationary? Not a word. Not one word. This is what you got. You got FUD. So, I mean, you can definitely pick your trade. Okay. Crypto Crazy likes the hand-drawn charts. That's on Twitter. And that's also a video on the new channel, which, again, feel free to subscribe, spread the word, right? I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Peter Anderson saying everybody is calling for 10K like they were calling for 100K. Mr. Market says different. Well said, sir. You should have your own show. Roosevelt Jones is here. Welcome. JRY, hello. Okay, he wants me to look at REEF. So this would be JRY gets the first official request in the new era. Okay, so this is an 89-minute chart of REEF. Let's go to 4-hour. Actually, you know what? Let's get bold. Let's pull up the DeMark, see if we can find it. Okay, so this is REEF. I don't know if looking at weekly charts of altcoins is going to do you any good. Okay, so what's going on down here? Is this winter? Is this a base? What is this? Okay, well, I'm not a fundamental expert on REEF. Obviously, this thing went way up and then crashed. What I would say REEF holders would look for is a breakout above, I don't know, let's call it the November 15th high. And your hope is that this is the bigger the base, the higher in the space, and what goes down one way goes up another. Okay. Josiah from Alabama, where do you think ETH is going over the next 3 months? Will we have a new low? Okay, well, I'm currently in process of doing the GANN work on this, but let's draw it all out. Let's just, let's do ETH. Okay, so this is monthly ETH. Okay, and then we're going to go to moving averages. Okay, like plain Jane stuff. Okay, so there's a moving average. And I like to use red for the 50-day. In this case, it's the 50-month. So the 50-month moving average in ETH is basically right where this market is at 1270. Okay. Now, if ETH can take the tax loss selling, like I think the December close matters, right? In other words, if no one is interested in ETH and it winds up closing, because it really hasn't, it has not been able to close below this 50-month moving average. It hasn't. So if it does, it's probably no good. It's probably no good. Now, one other thing about ETH that I think is really interesting, I got really fixated on the 1420 level. And then I went back to the monthly opens in January and February of 2018, which was like the peak of the ICO boom, right? And that was right at 1132. So I think in a bearish case for ETH, 1132 is possible. I think if it's below 1132, then you're looking at a liquidation event for the system, right? In other words, this FTX shoe has another drop to it, or another shoe drops on that level. I haven't got the full preview for next year worked out. All I know is they've been banging on this moving average in ETH for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And I'm going to give it a chance because it's deflationary, and I have no idea why anybody, I mean, I understand Bitcoin is below its 50-month moving average. I get that. So I don't know. I suppose I understand why people are so down on Bitcoin, but it feels like everyone's given up on Bitcoin, and I don't know why. Right? I don't. Now, are these ranges, on a final note, are these ranges in Bitcoin? You know, every time Bitcoin does these ranges, you know, it'll do a range and it'll try to go up, and when the rally fails, it collapses. Are we looking at another failed rally in Bitcoin? I hope not. So let's sum this up. Don't give up on crypto just because there's tax loss selling. There's tax loss selling. So don't give up. Right? When you see bearish action, people are quitting and they're selling because they're taking tax losses, or they're taking profits if the thing has gone up. The key for 2023 is to find stuff that you believe in and that you like, right? And then commit capital slowly as the market either validates or invalidates what you think. That's the market update today. I'm Bill Noble. Subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow.